Good evening, friends. Uh, how are you all? Hope you all are doing good. Today we are going to finish our last chapter of 6th standard NCRT, that is climate, vegetation, and wildlife. So, friends, yesterday we saw a small chapter about India. So there was nothing much to talk about this chapter, so that's why I did not give you any question. Today, let us talk about this very interesting chapter, climate, vegetation, and wildlife. So, friends, when we say climate, in one of the chapters we have seen the definition of climate. Climate is nothing but an average weather condition over a few decades, like say 30 40 years. So vegetation means what? Vegetation means plants. Vegetation means all the plants, fungus, then algas, you can call it as a vegetation. So vegetation is directly dependent upon the type of climate that we have in a particular region. So for example, if particular region has a desert type of climate, so temperature is very high, there is no water, soil is very poor quality. So climate is of particular type. So vegetation would be thorny type of vegetation. Vegetation, trees, plants, they will not have leaves. So you have cactus type of vegetation. If somewhere you have very huge amount of rainfall, let us say in the Amazon or in the Africa, so the average rainfall is more than 200 centimeter over there, or let us say 300 400 centimeters over there. So here you have huge amount of sunlight available, huge amount of water is there, soil quality is also very good. So you will get huge big trees which will not shed leaves at all. They will look green all the year. So this type of evergreen type of vegetation will be there in this type of climate. Now the third factor is wildlife. Depending upon the climate and vegetation, the type of wildlife will be there. For example, in some region, plants do not have fruit. They do not produce the fruits. They produce only seeds. Then you will find more population of bird dominant in that region. If somewhere you have grasses, then you'll have grass eating animals like zebras, elephants, deers. If somewhere desert condition is there, so you will see reptiles are more dominant over there because reptile can go under the soil, or they can go and hide under the earth or under the soil. So you will have more population of scorpions, the sand lizards, snakes. Animals will also have a habit of digging under the earth or living in the caves, like desert foxes will be there. Okay, so in this way, climate and vegetation will impact the type of wildlife which is present over there. So friends, this chapter is also not very brief chapter since it's a 6th standard NCRT. It's a small chapter but very important. So here we'll see some basic definition, the type of vegetation and climate. As we move further, we are going to go detailed in climate, vegetation and wildlife. Then when you will learn the environment, there you will also learn biosphere reserves, wildlife sanctuaries and so many things, and climatic regions of the world, climatic regions of the India. Okay. Then in 11th and 12th standard NCRT, we are going to see the Koeppen, who classifies climate and he links vegetation and wildlife to that climate. Getting it? So step by step, we are going to move towards, let us say, more complex chapters. So let us understand these climate, vegetation and wildlife in case of India. So when we have seen that weather and climate is nothing but as time, it's dependent upon time. Particular same thing we call it as a weather, another thing is called as a climate. So weather is a short-term phenomenon. For example, a day-to-day changes what is happening in the temperature, what is the day-to-day changes happening in the humidity, day-to-day changes happening in the way air flows. We call it as air. We call it as a weather. So weather can change in a day. It can change within a few hours. It can change within few weeks also. So we call it as a weather. Okay. So here weather is a very small phenomena. So season to season you have different weathers. In rainy season you have different weather. Even in entire rainy season you don't have same weather every day. So day to day weather can change. Okay. So this is the weather. But if you see the average weather condition in a particular area for 40 years or let us say 50 years, then they will be almost same. So this average weather condition we'll call it as a climate. So for 40 years, let us say India will have particular temperature, range of temperature in the rainy season, particular range of temperature in the winter season, particular range of temperature in the summer. Even a place like Hyderabad, where our institute is, you'll see that weather conditions are in the Hyderabad are same over the year. Average weather conditions are same in a particular season. So this average weather condition for 30 to 40 years in the Hyderabad, we will call it as a climate. Now let us understand in case of India, when we say climate. So Indian climate has been studied by various geographers. Not necessarily we can call them geographers. Some of them were travelers. Okay. Recently, many geographers have studied them. But in ancient time, Chinese travelers, then Persian travelers, Arabian travelers, they have studied the Indian climate. And like various treaties, like say Kalidasa's Meghadutam, it has mentioned about the Indian climate very precisely. Okay. So currently, whatever we call it as an Indian climate, we are calling it a monsoon type. Now, from where this word monsoon comes? So ancient time, we have a huge trade links between India and Arabia. So these Arabian people used to come to India. So this monsoon comes from the Arabian word mausim. Even in the Hindi, we called particular weather as mausam. So this is the Arabic word mausim, from which we call that particular type of climate as monsoon type of climate. So type of climate in India is nothing but a monsoon type of climate. So as we have seen, so many factors play their role in deciding the climate. So climate will be decided by the type of mountains that you have in surrounding your region. Climate will be decided by the relief features. Climate will be decided by the presence of sea, presence of rivers, presence of let us say forest in particular area. And now human settlement are also affecting the climate. You can see this particular lockdown period when people are staying at home and there are no heavy activities of industrial activities. Suddenly the temperatures have been changed. We are feeling more cold. We are having more rainfall. Even in the summer we had rainfall twice or thrice in many parts of India. Even place like Delhi, which is very very hot in some summer duration, it's very difficult to stay. People are not feeling the heat this time because it's very cool, because there are no vehicles, the temperature is not very high, industries are not there, then various activities are stopped. So that's why these human settlements, they play a very important role in deciding the climate nowadays in a particular region. Now when we are saying the climate, we can classify them into the four types of season in case of India. So India have a four seasons. Seasons are nothing but a particular set of climate in the particular period of the year. So particular 3 months or 4 months in the year, you have particular type of climate, you have humidity, you have rainfall. We call them as a season, particular amount of sunlight, number of days and hours are particular in that particular season. So this is called as a season. So in India we recognize four seasons. So as everyone knows, but in some regions we have 6 seasons also, but not entire India. But in terms of India as a whole, we can say we have broadly 4 seasons. So as we know that we have winter almost from December to February. In South India it comes little earlier. In North India it comes little late and it prolongs more in North India. Then we have summer, that is hot weather season from March to May. Then next, during the summer season only rain comes. So this third season is a rainy season. So from June, let us say June to September, it starts almost first week of June in Kerala. It is marked as the 7th June, but it starts even before that. Okay, and then autumn, where there is a the leaves of the trees are shed. So it's a pre-winter season. Okay, so this is known as the autumn. So we are going to see this season in detail when we will start the climatology. So broadly, these are the season in case of India. Now, these seasons, they have particular type of climate, and this climate is directly related to the natural vegetation. So due to the particular climatic condition, India has a wide range of natural vegetation. So for example, climates in the Himalayan region, you'll have rainfall, you'll have a snowfall, and climates are not very hot. So here, the trees in the Himalayan region, you'll see they are softwood trees. Also, climate varies according to the altitude in case of Himalayas. So as the altitude changes, then type of wildlife vegetation, natural vegetation also changes. For example, at the base of the Himalaya, you can see evergreen forest and deciduous forest. As you move upwards, let us say 3,500 meter, then you will see softwood trees like Devdar, Chinar. Then as you move further upwards, then you will see coniferous trees where they are facing huge amount of snowfall. And then at the top of the Himalayas, you will see almost tundra-like conditions. So there you will see only fungus, lichens. Okay. So natural conditions in India vary region to region. So in North India, you have deciduous forest. As you come down to the southern India, let us say before that you go to the central India, there you have a thorny forest. Western part of the country, again we have more thorny forest and desert type of natural vegetation in Rajasthan, in case of Gujarat. Okay. Then as you come down, in case of Maharashtra, there you have Western Ghats where you have very high rainfall and good amount of sunlight. So there also you will see evergreen, semi-evergreen type of forest. And as you come down to the Kerala and southern part of Tamil Nadu, you will get lots of evergreen type of forest, specifically in the Kerala. In the northeast also you will get huge amount of rainforest. You will see evergreen forest over there. Okay. So in this way, natural vegetation changes according to the climate condition in that particular region. Now, since this natural vegetation, we call them as a forest. So forest, now we have understood in the era of global warming, we have understood the needs of the forest. So in your mains examination, you must know in general what are the benefits of forest and why is it necessary. Directly they may not ask you the question, but indirectly you can use this as a question, or indirectly you can write this somewhere in the essay or somewhere related to geography question. So what are the various functions of the forest? So as we know, forests are very, very important in terms that they produce huge amount of oxygen. So they suck in carbon dioxide, they suck in greenhouse gases, and they produce oxygen, which is very, very important. Okay. Plant roots are very important as they hold the soil. Grass roots, plant roots, they are very, very important. They bind the soil. So when flood comes, this soil does not flow into the ocean or into the river. So that is why plants have very important function in preventing the desertification. If you cut the forest, desertification starts. That's why in India we are seeing that huge amount of desertification is happening because we are cutting forest for various purposes. So the very important part of the forest, it binds the soil. Now see, it has a cascading effects. So binding soil is not just the function. When soil is being bound, when there are many, then then in the forest it gets rich with the humus. It gets rich with the dead material. This type of soil becomes very, very fertile. Huge organic material contain presence of plant root and soil is bound by them. Then it stops the flowing water, it absorbs more water. Plant body also absorbs lots of water directly from the rainfall. So forest performs the function of preserving the water as well. So these plant roots will bind the water and slowly they will release the water. So directly flood will not come into the river, and water will be preserved. Rainfall will be preserved for 5 to 6 months because of the forest. Getting it? So this is very important. That's why many rivers in the or 95% rivers in the India, they are forest fed rivers. Though their origin is from the glacier, but 95% water comes from the forest. Okay. Forest is also habitat for the wildlife, for the birds. So we have seen that forest directly decides the type of animals, type of birds in your area. So forests are the major deciding factor for the natural, uh, uh, say, wildlife. Okay. So these are the things. Forest, then there are so many other benefits, economic benefits of the forest that we know, that forests are very useful for extracting the forest produce like tendu leaves. People make bidis. In the Andhra is also very famous for this bidis. Okay, tobacco is cultivated a lot in Andhra. Okay, so forest produce for forest dwellers. They take honey, they take lac, and they tendu leaves and certain mahua flowers. So many uses are there of forest. Also, forest is very important for timber and let us say some recreational facilities. So whenever we are bored, whenever we want change because of the lots of pollution, okay, around our homes, around the cities. So what we go to the forest. Okay, we climb to the trees, we take some forest fruits, we eat some forest fruits, we eat honey in the forest. Okay, we go and swim in the natural streams, rivers, lakes. So these are the various importance of the forest. Forest soil is also have medicinal properties. Forests have medicinal plants. So these are the various usage of forest. Now, as we have seen, wildlife is directly dependent upon the forest. So there are certain facts given in this NCRT which can be utilized in the exam or which can be asked in the prelims. So certain facts, these facts are also given in the India yearbook, but they are not mentioned somewhere in any other book. Like our national animal is nothing but a tiger. Okay, Asiatic lions are found in the Gir forest in the Gujarat. Okay, rhinoceros, one-horned rhinoceros, elephants, they are found in the Assam, northeast, many states in the northeast. Then in the southern state, okay, starting from Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, and some parts, some little bit part of Maharashtra, we find these elephants. Okay, then there are animals in the desert, like there are wild asses, okay, which are found in the Gujarat, Kutch plain. Great Indian bustard is a very rare bird which is found in the state of Rajasthan in the Great National Park, Desert National Park. Okay, Himalayan regions you will find like Himalayan leopards. You will find some goats called as Himalayan tahars. Then you will find Himalayan bears. They are very huge bears called Himalayan bears. Okay, so these things are very important. Our national bird is peacock. Okay, so though these things we know, but somewhere concretely it is not mentioned in many books, but the six standard NCRTs, the last chapter mentions about this. So this is very important. Okay, so these are the important things which are given in this chapter, and certain very minute things which are not mentioned anywhere, but this can be asked in your exam is about migratory birds. You see this chapter and this slide, sometimes you will find in as a MCQ in your exam because they haven't exploited this question yet. So names of the migratory bird. So there is a bird called as a little stint. So very small bird. It travels very long distance from Arctic region to the India, almost 8,000 kilometer it travels, and you will not even notice it. It's very small, like 15 grams. Okay, if you see, like some people even wear the ring, their wedding ring is more than 15 grams. It's like 20-30 gram wedding ring they will have in their hand. This bird is even very small, even in the weight compared to a ring. So 15 grams. Okay, So this 15-gram bird, it's a small bird, is traveling 8,000 kilometers from Arctic cold region and it reaches to India. Okay. So these migratory birds, their names are very, very important. So little stint is one of them. Then pintail duck. Okay. Then curlews, flamingos. Flamingos everyone knows. Ospreys. Okay. So these are three more migratory birds. You will find the MCQ in the, definitely you are going to find this MCQ in the exam. This year or next year. They will give this four options: pintail ducks, curlews, flamingos, ospreys and little stint. Which of the following are the migratory birds? And out of them, which of the birds visit India? So all these birds visit India. Okay. So every year these birds, they are visiting India. Okay. So these are this information in this topic is very, very important and it can be asked. So since this is the last topic, this much is only given in this topic. So I hope this was very easy cakewalk for you to go through the 6 standard NCRTs, but don't take them very lightly, because some facts, they are very important. Even they will help you to solve 1 or 2 questions. And as you guys know, this is a competitive exam. Even one question matters. Even if you know the 2015 topper, Harita Kumar, I think she is from South only. The cutoff was 215 and I think 115 or something like that, and she got exactly that number of marks. If 1 mark here and there, she would have failed. So this is very important. So the best thing is to go sincerely through all the topics and remember everything, take notes. I am using PPTs so that it will be helpful for you to write down or take the notes. It won't be difficult for you guys. Okay, I could have written on the white paper or bit paper. I could have used the bit paper, but I'm not doing this because I want you guys to take notes whatever I'm showing on the PPTs. Okay, so like every chapter that we finish, we take MCQs. So first MCQ: world's highest rainfall occurs in. So though it is not given or I haven't mentioned, okay, just find it out. Wild goats, snowed leopards are found. This we have seen. During the southwest monsoon period, the moisture-laden winds blow from. So this monsoon period, okay, monsoon is nothing but a flow of wind in a particular direction. In the period of monsoon, what happens? Low pressure develops in the plain of Ganga and near the foothills of Himalayas. So they attract winds from the southern hemisphere called as a trade winds. This chapter will definitely have in a very detailed, we are going to see. So right now you just understand. So they attract the trade wind from the southern hemisphere and this trade wind reaches to the India. So since they will be coming from sea to the land, so definitely the southwest monsoon winds will be blowing from sea towards land. Northwest monsoon or retreating monsoon is nothing but these trade winds from the northern hemisphere go to the southern hemisphere. So in that case, northern hemisphere is largely occupied by the land. So wind is flowing from land towards sea in case of retreating monsoon or in case of winter monsoon, or we call it as a northeastern monsoon. So these are very simple things. They will come again and again and again. Okay. So same things, more detail, they will come in the 7th standard chapter, 8th standard chapter, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and again when I will come and teach you, I will use some reference books. In that also we are going to see this in detail. Okay. Then there are some certain fill in the blanks. Hot and dry wind known as dash dash blow during the day in the summer. So these hot and dry winds, it is known as a loo. So this is a local wind. This is a pre-monsoon wind. So before the occurrence of monsoon in the northern India, it gets very hot. When low pressure is being developed in the northern India, winds start blowing from almost from Pakistan up to Bihar. So this wind is very, very hot. Believe me, this preliminary examination is always when these winds are at its peak. And these winds are very, very dry and they are hot. So you don't understand when you get dry up. your body get dry up very quickly. So many people died because of this hot and dry wind known as Loo in the North India. Okay. Next question is the state of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu receives a great amount of rainfall during which season? So since state of Andhra and Tamil Nadu, they come under the rain shadow region of Western Ghats and they are parallel to the Bay of Bengal branch of southwestern monsoon. So they don't get much rainfall from the southwestern monsoon. But when northeastern monsoon starts, these northeastern monsoon winds get obstructed because of the eastern Ghats, and the state of Andhra and Tamil Nadu receives great amount of rainfall during the retreating monsoon. Okay, this also we are going to study in detail, but in this NCERT they haven't mentioned much, so I'm not discussing here that much. Okay, dash dash forest is a in Gujarat is home of dash dash. So this we have seen. Okay, so I hope guys you have understood this questions and you have understood this chapter. Very simple chapter. Tomorrow onwards we are going to see the 7th standard geography chapter. It's mostly based on environment, okay, and partially based on environment and geography. Okay, so see you tomorrow guys for the next chapter of 7th standard. Have a nice day. Thank you.